You ever just feel like you're drowning in information? Like you need to get up to speed on something huge, something complex, maybe for work or maybe just because you're curious, but who has months to read everything, right? You just want the key stuff, the aha moments, like now.
Yeah, that's exactly why we do this. So in this deep dive, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're talking about one of the biggest shifts happening in business right now, cloud computing.
Seriously, it's changing everything. How companies are built, how they run. We've got some really great examples to dig into. Think about a classic company like Hershey's, the candy maker.
Right. And then completely different end of the spectrum, something that might kind of stretch your brain a bit, how a modern bank can be built almost entirely in the cloud.
It's pretty wild. So our mission today really is to pull out the absolute must-know nuggets from these stories. We're talking cloud strategies, who the big players are, some of the surprising challenges, and obviously the big benefits.
Yep. Think of it as your shortcut, your way to really get a handle on this whole transformation without getting lost in the weeds.
Okay, let's do it. First up, Hershey's. The sweet shift. You think Hershey's, you think, well, candy bars in the aisle, maybe?
Right, that traditional view. But things have really changed. Back in the day, yeah, it was all about that candy aisle placement. But, think about how you buy a Hershey bar now.
It's usually right there at the checkout, right? An impulse buy.
Exactly. It's less about the main aisle and way more about that impulse moment at the register. That placement, that checkout zone is just critical for them now.
Okay, that makes sense. But here's something I found kind of surprising. Who's buying Hershey's in massive bulk? Like huge multi-packs from Costco.
You might think big families, maybe?
Yeah, or parties.
But actually, a huge chunk of that is vending machine operators. They load up at places like Costco to stock their machines. It's a whole different kind of customer.
Huh. You ever thought about that? Okay, so vending machines, impulse buys, but then they got really concerned about self-checkout. That seemed odd to me at first.
Well, think about the tech side. It's all about frictionless checkout. Does the barcode scan easily first time? Is it the right size and the right place on the packaging?
Ah, okay, so it's a physical design thing interacting with the tech.
Yeah, and more than that, their product codes, their SKUs, they have to work perfectly across all the different store systems. Randall's, H-E-B, Whole Foods, Target, Walmart. Hundreds of different point-of-sale systems.
Right. It has to be seamless everywhere. A huge integration challenge.
Exactly. Frictionless is the goal. It signals they're moving into a more mature phase, digitally speaking. Integrating everything, not just having separate systems. It's about getting that single view of the business.
And what did they say they got out of it? What were the benefits?
Well, the reports mention things like an upgraded digital foundation, obviously. Better data quality, though. Let's be honest, you often hear it's interns doing the grunt work of cleaning up that data.
Yeah, the unsung heroes of data quality.
Totally. But seriously, the big ones were things like a harmonized route to market, basically, smoothing out their supply chain, faster innovation, more efficiency in the back office, finance, HR.
And they had plans for what's next, using that new foundation.
Yeah, they mentioned moving towards integrated dynamic planning and predictive demand forecasting, using all that connected data to get smarter about what people will buy and when.
Okay, that sounds very strategic, very data-driven. But then, candy segmentation. How do you even segment candy buyers? Is it age? Where they shop? Whether they freeze their Reese's cups? Because I do that.
It's tricky, right? It's not simple demographics. Hershey's apparently uses two main segments, Go-To and Hunter. Go-To is pretty much what we talked about, the impulse buy at the checkout. Store displays are key there.
Those displays companies pay big bucks for, right at eye level.
Exactly, that prime real estate.
Yeah.
But then there's the Hunter segment. And this is where it gets maybe a little more experimental.
Okay, I got intrigued.
Their strategy for the Hunter involves using social media influencers, TikTok, Instagram, paying influencers to market candy.
Does that feel like a solid strategy based on their data, or is it more like, hey, let's try TikTok because everyone's doing it, kind of throwing darts?
That's the question, isn't it? It raises that point about how established companies jump onto new channels. Is there a clear line from their cloud analytics and planning to this specific tactic, or is it more about just experimenting?
Yeah. It's easy to see how the cloud tools enable that kind of targeted experiment, but harder to know if it's truly the most effective spend.
Right. The tech allows it, but strategy has to drive it.
Okay, so Hershey's shows a traditional company using cloud for efficiency, supply chain, even trying new marketing angles. If that's interesting, this next one, Well, it might really shift your perspective. Banking.
Yeah, this is the part that can be kind of mind-blowing for people. The idea that you can build an entire bank, pretty much everything it does, completely in the cloud, like almost zero servers on the bank's own premises.
Seriously, a whole bank in the cloud.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And it's not some weird fringe thing. This is becoming the standard. It's literally how banking tech is going to be built for the next decade, I'd say.
Okay, walk us through that. How does that even work?
Well, you still have the underlying network, right?
Yeah.
Connecting maybe a small office or a hosted data center securely using things like SD-WAN or VPNs, but the actual banking functions, all cloud apps.
So they pick and choose different cloud services for different jobs, like a best-of-breed approach.
Exactly. Best of breed is the perfect term.
Okay, so Pfizer for the core balances. What about like debit cards?
There's another specialized cloud provider, often Vantive. They handle issuing the cards for hundreds of banks, connecting into the Visa and MasterCard networks.
Okay, so another specialized piece. Marketing.
Salesforce. Typically, a lot of companies use Salesforce for CRM and marketing, banks included. It's a cloud standard.
And loans. Mortgages, personal loans.
Often different cloud platforms even for that. Maybe Encompass for home loans, Meridian One for personal loans. Again, specialized tools for specific tasks.
This is like building with expert Lego blocks. What about the app on my phone, my mobile banking app?
Ah, good one. That app, say if you bank with Wells Fargo or hundreds of others, it's often not built by the bank itself. It's provided by a company called Q2. They're actually based here in Austin.
So Q2 makes the app, and the bank just puts its logo on it.
Pretty much. They provide these white label apps for over 300 banks. So you're interacting with Q2's cloud system when you use your bank's app.
Okay, that's fascinating. And you mentioned something about Q2 using blockchain.
Yeah, this is really cool. Q2 processes something like $4 trillion in transactions. And they use blockchain technology internally. But wait, not for Bitcoin or anything like that.
Okay, so what for?
To prevent insider fraud. They use blockchain to create this immutable, transparent ledger of transactions within their system. It makes it incredibly hard for an employee to mess with the data undetected.
Wow. So that's a real-world practical use of blockchain for security, completely separate from crypto hype.
Exactly. It's a powerful security tool in that context.
How do they pull all that data together for, like, analysis or backup?
Right. Good question. They typically aggregate all that data, pull it from all those different cloud sources into usually a separate hosted data center. They back it up there, and they build a data warehouse for running analytics across everything.
Got it. So it's a mosaic, different specialized cloud pieces all talking to each other with the data pulled together centrally for oversight.
Precisely. And the key takeaway for you listening isn't necessarily memorizing those company names like Pfizer or Q2. It's understanding this pattern. Businesses are strategically picking the best cloud tool for each job.
This multi-cloud best-of-breed strategy. It's mainstream now, not risky.
Totally mainstream, low risk even. It's efficient, it's scalable, and frankly, it's easy to explain and justify to the board. It makes sense.
It really does sound like how we manage our own lives on our phones, doesn't it?
That's a perfect analogy. You pick your banking app, your social media app, maybe a specific app for learning something. You curate your own personal enterprise architecture on your phone. Businesses are doing the exact same thing now with cloud apps.
Okay, so we've seen these strategies in action. Hershey's, the bank. Let's zoom out a bit. What are the basic building blocks? What's the sort of palette companies have to choose from when they're building with cloud? You mentioned 3 main pillars.
Yeah, broadly speaking, 3 main categories. First, there's software as a service. That's things like Salesforce or those banking apps we talked about. The vendor runs everything. You just log in and use it. Super easy to get started.
Right. But maybe less control, less customization.
Exactly. That's the trade-off. Second, you've got virtual machines or VMs. That's also called infrastructure as a service or IS. This is basically renting servers in the cloud from the big players, Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud.
So you get the raw computing power and you build your own stuff on top.
Yep. You get a lot more control, more flexibility, but you're also responsible for managing more of it, the operating system, the patching, all that.
Okay. And the third pillar?
Specialized utilities. Think cloud-based tools for specific advanced tasks. Analytics platforms are a big one, Power BI, Tableau, and now increasingly AI models. You can access dozens of proprietary AI models, plus open source ones, all running in the cloud.
This whole cloud market sounds absolutely massive. What kind of scale are we talking?
It's huge. As of 2023, it was about a $500 billion industry globally, and the growth has just been, Well, exponential. Look at AWS Amazon's cloud division. They power so much, especially streaming like Prime Video, Netflix, Roku. Their revenue just keeps doubling.
And Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud.
Similar stories. Azure is really strong in the business world, databases, things linked to Microsoft's ecosystem. Google Cloud is growing fast too. The growth curves for all three are surprisingly similar, just massive upward trajectories.
Okay, so everyone's rushing to the cloud, but are there downsides? Any common problems?
Oh, definitely. A big one is waste. It's called oversubscription. Companies sign up for more cloud services, more software licenses, more computing power than they actually need or use.
Like paying for a gym membership you never use.
Exactly like that. You see companies adopting, say, a big CRM system, a SaaS product, but they haven't really figured out why or what specific problem it solves. They buy the tech first, then try to find a use for it.
And that just burns money.
Burns a lot of money. It really underlines that critical principle. Outcomes have to drive the technology choices, not the other way around. You need a clear strategy first, then pick the tools. Otherwise, you're just pouring cash down the drain.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Strategy first. Okay, so beyond picking SaaS or VMs or utilities, companies also have choices about where their stuff physically runs, even if it's cloud. There's like a whole deployment palette too.
Right. There's still a spectrum. You've got the real old school approach. The on-premise data center, your own servers in your own building, like that Texas tax system.
Okay, the traditional one.
Then there's the hosted data center. Your company rents space, like server cages, inside a big data center building owned by someone else. We mentioned Google uses Data Foundry here in Austin. For YouTube, that's a hosted model.
So your servers, but in their building?
Yep. And you can take that a step further. Hosted with managed services. Now, the data center staff actually looks after your servers for you. Maintenance, monitoring, that can save a lot on staffing costs.
Okay. And then there are even more specialized places.
Oh, yeah. For really critical stuff, you have specialized multi-tenant data centers. These are like fortresses, high security, incredible redundancy. Think multiple power feeds from different grids, tons of internet providers coming in.
Why so much redundancy?
To eliminate single points of failure. Places like Switch in Las Vegas.
So on-prem, hosted with managed services, specialized high security, and I guess private cloud fits in there too.
Right. Private cloud is essentially dedicated cloud infrastructure, often hosted, but just for your company. So yeah, companies mix and match all these. Maybe core financials stay on-prem or in private cloud, while customer-facing apps run on AWS or Azure VMs, and they use SaaS for HR.
It really is a palette they can choose from based on needs like security, cost, control. Okay, final piece here. If you were choosing one of the big public cloud giants, AWS versus Azure, what's the quick differentiator?
Generally speaking, AWS often comes out a bit cheaper, especially for basic virtual machines. They have great free tiers for startups. They really dominate anything involving massive scale streaming. Prime, Netflix, Roku run heavily on AWS.
Okay, cheap VMs, good for startups and streaming. Azure.
Azure is Microsoft's home turf. So they're really strong if you need heavy-duty cloud databases like SQL Server running in the cloud. They focus a lot on business applications, enterprise infrastructure. If you're already a big Microsoft shop, Azure often makes a lot of sense.
Got it. Okay, so let's tie this all together for everyone listening. We've journeyed from Hershey's, a classic company using cloud for everything from smooth checkouts to supply chains.
Right, gaining agility. And then we saw how an entire industry, banking, is being fundamentally rebuilt using these specialized, interconnected cloud services. Almost no hardware needed on-site anymore.
And we've unpacked that cloud palette: SaaS for ease, VMs for control, specialized tools for AI and analytics, plus all those deployment options from on-prem to super secure hosted centers.
Yeah, and the big takeaway from that palette isn't that one option is best. It's that smart companies are mixing and matching. They're building custom digital foundations using all these pieces, SaaS here, VMs there, maybe a secure hosted data center for critical data, all driven by their specific business goals, their security needs, their budget.
Understanding this landscape, this way of thinking, it really feels crucial now for anyone involved in business, tech, or, frankly, just trying to understand how the modern world works.